You are not just another hustling salesperson. You are the expert, the resource, the valuable partner for your clients. And how you grow your business should reflect how your clients see you. Welcome to the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. We generate referrals without asking, build positive client experiences, and help you take control of your business. Here's your charmingly sarcastic host, Stacey Brown Randall.
Hey there, and welcome to episode 138 of the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Brown Randall. Okay, real quick before we dive in. Some of you may have heard that the Growth by Referrals program, my signature program of how I teach my referrals without asking strategy, process, and methodology, is having a price increase. Yes, it's true, but it's not until the end of February. So don't worry, no pressure, no panic. You've got time to make a decision. If you've been on the fence about joining the Growth by Referrals program and you've decided that 2021 is the year you're going to get serious about having a referral explosion and you are ready to join, well, then I'm going to tell you, go ahead and do it now. Just go to growthbyreferrals.com. Okay, so we've been going through in the last 3 episodes, really digging into our referral sources. And we did this. If you've been a longtime listener of the podcast, then you know we actually did this in episode 89, 91, and 92. We kind of did a 3-part series of digging into our referral sources, but that was also focused on helping us identify that if we need more referral sources, how do we go through that process? What we've been spending time with through episode 135, 136, and 137, the last 3 episodes, is really digging into understanding our existing or current referral sources. That means the ones that have referred you in at least the last couple of years. And what I've been walking through with you understanding who these such important humans are, like they're the most important people. I know you guys know this. I sometimes feel like a broken record. But for the people in the back, your referral sources are the most important humans in the entire process if you want more referrals, right? Understanding who these referral sources are is what the whole point of episode 135, 136, and 137 was all about. But what I want you to understand, now that you have a better grasp on who these people are, I really want to dig in and tell you why your referral sources are so important within this episode. So I've talked about looking at your referral strategy from what I would call a layering lens. And you may remember me talking about this like one time last year in 2020 in episode 125, right before we moved into our reverse goal setting process. But I started talking about your referral strategy from a layering lens. And there are 6 layers in total of your overall referral strategy if you're going to look at it from a layering lens perspective. In episode 125, and of course, you guys know we'll link to that in the show notes. The show notes page for this episode is staceybrownrandall.com/138. We will link to episode 125 on the show notes page for this episode. But episode 125, I really kind of dug in and kind of gave you the overview, right? It was kind of showing you like, hey, here's a snapshot at all the layers and what this looks like. And I have that same layering PDF available for you guys. It's a 1-page PDF. It's very visual. It shows you these different layers by boxes. They're nice, pretty colors. And you guys can get that on the show notes page as well. It is the Layering Lens PDF download. And of course, show notes page for this episode, staceybrownrandall.com/138. And Stacey has an E. So what I wanted to do with this episode, though, is show you why I have spent time over the last couple of episodes talking about understanding who your referral sources are, knowing their names, rating the relationship you have with them, using that number to calculate what your average number of referrals could be for this year versus if you did some work to take care of them, what your explosion could look like, and then getting really clear and understanding who's active and inactive as well. I want to tell you why. I want to show you why that's so important as I unpack for you layer number 1 within our layering strategy. So layer number 1 of our layering strategy of the 6 overall layers is our existing referral source layer. Now, when we think about this existing referral source layer, these are the people who have given you referrals before. So layer number 1 is the existing referral sources. Just to put this in perspective, layer number 2 is potential referral sources, meaning the people who you want to refer you but aren't yet referring you. But we start with our very first layer. And the very first thing we have to do before we can start getting more referrals is determine who's been referring us. And then, of course, based on what you guys have already learned the last few episodes, who's active, who's inactive, who do I have the right relationship, when's the last time they've referred me? We kind of got into all that data as well. And so the first layer, and it is the layer that I have everybody go through when they come into my Growth by Referrals program, is first figuring out, do you have existing referral sources? And if you do, before we do anything else, we're going to create a plan to take care of them. Because the goal of this layer, of layer number 1 for your existing referral sources, is to receive more referrals from your referral sources. So if we want more referrals from them, maybe they give us 1 a year, but hey, we think they have the capacity to give us 2 or 3 a year, whatever that looks like. Or they give us 1 every other year and we'd love to get 1 or 2 every single year. It's the idea that these people have referred you before and you would like to get more referrals from them moving forward. Now, this is not an exact science, and it is not just because you take care of them, right? If you build it, they will come. It's not exactly how it works. But we do know if we do nothing and we ignore our referral sources, nothing is typically what is going to happen. So the very first layer, it is the layer that everybody needs to first go through to identify, do you have existing referral sources? Now, here's the thing. If you don't have anyone who's ever referred you before, or you've changed the focus of your business and people who referred you in the past aren't going to be able to refer you in the future, then you don't have the first layer. Then you would start with the second layer, which we will dig into in a couple of episodes, which is our potential referral sources. But you don't determine that you skip layer 1 until you've actually gone through and identified your referral sources. Now, there are a couple of basic steps that are in layer 1, and this is broken down on the PDF that you guys can download, the layering approach or the layering lens document. You guys can see this visually. There's a couple of basic steps that we go through within this first layer. Number 1, I need you to identify your referral sources. Where have you heard that before? Probably because I beat it like a dead horse over and over and over again. And I've been talking about it for the last 3 weeks. And I talked about it a bunch last year and the year before that and the year before that. And I got a whole book part that's written around this whole concept of first identifying your referral sources. So that is step 1 of layer number 1. Can you see how powerful and how important it is? So the first thing I need you to do is identify your referral sources. Now, if you've gone through the Growth by Referrals program, you know I have a very specific way that I teach you guys to go through this. I give you the template so you can pull all this data together. If you're not in the Growth by Referrals program, that's okay. You can still go through this process. The last 3 episodes on the podcast, 135 to 137, will walk you through it. Chapter 8 in my book, Generating Business Referrals Without Asking, will walk you through it. And there are other episodes on the podcast. And I believe there's even an article on my website, stacybrownrandall.com/articles, that will walk you through it as well. I have this information in so many places because it's such a powerful one for everyone to go through. If you've ever been through one of my 5-day challenges as well, it was like day 2 of your 5-day challenge. So more than likely, you've heard me talk about this, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, you've gone through this process. Now, the way that I teach this inside the Growth by Referrals program is we don't just look at 1 year or 2 year. We actually go back 3 or 4 or 5 years. I did one time have a Growth by Referrals student who went back to like 1998, and I was like, too far. We don't need you going back that far. But we need more than 1 or 2 years, unless that's all you've been in business for. And then you just go with what you have. But if you've been in business 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, give me 3 or 4 years of data so we can really make sure we've got a comprehensive, holistic list of existing referral sources. Okay, then the second step of your layer 1, number 1, is to create your yearly plan. This is how you're going to take care of those referral sources that you've identified. It's how you're going to be memorable and meaningful and stay top of mind, and how you're going to use those opportunities to be memorable and meaningful to make sure that they understand how thankful you are for the referrals that they send you. And it's a vehicle for you to be able to deliver referral seed language, which is how they start thinking about you from a referral perspective. And so you've got to have this yearly plan mapped out. I've talked about this before. Typically, it's going to be between 4 and 8 touch points, right? If you are curious of what this should look like for your business, well, then I'm going to encourage you to consider joining GBR because that's where I break it down. There's a whole methodology behind how we come up with our touch points. It is not, oh, I love throwing events, so let me throw four events in a year and boom, now I've got my touch points. There's more to it than that. And that is the information, yes, for those of you wondering, that it is in the program, Growth by Referrals, really when we dig into Module 3 and we were really looking at, okay, how do we decide what is the thing that's going to be memorable and meaningful for our referral sources? So we have to have our yearly plan. Step 3, it's so not a fun one, but it's execution. Actually, I take that back. I think executing on my referral source touch points are some of the most fun I have because I'm not cold calling and I'm not sending out a bunch of emails and I'm not sitting in a room full, virtual or not, with strangers trying to network. I think taking care of my referral sources and doing the work is a lot of fun. Sometimes our touch points can be a little bit of a logistical nightmare, but I still think those are so much more fun than some of the other things we have to do to grow our business. So step 3 of layer number 1 is, of course, that you execute on this plan that you have created for the humans you have identified in step 1, who are your existing referral sources. Step 4 then is to make sure you understand how to plant direct and indirect referral seeds, right? And to make sure you understand how to plant the correct thank you referral seeds. So a big thing that we spend time on in the Growth by Referrals program is Module 4, which has all the language pieces. Guys, it is my secret sauce, right? It is the thing that I know that makes the referral strategy that I help people build work. And it is reserved for my clients, right? It is reserved for those who go through my program. But it is this concept and understanding what a referral seed is, what's the formula behind it. So, because I want people to be able to understand how to do this on their own. I don't want anyone to ever feel like I have to get the referral seed language exact from Stacy. No, there's a formula I teach so that you can come up with your own. But there are some very specific ones I want you to understand how to use. And then there are scripts upon scripts upon scripts. And there's like dozens and dozens of scripts in there that walk you through what this ultimately looks like. And I think one of the most favorite things that I get to see folks do is when they hop into our student-only Growth by Referrals Facebook group and they start asking questions about language. I think that's really cool to see other people share their thoughts and what they've taken from the training and applied it for themselves as how they're creating referral seed language. But guys, here's the thing. The language you use while you are executing on the yearly plan you have built for the people you have identified who are your existing referral sources is the secret sauce which makes all of this work. This isn't a whole bunch of client appreciation events that you're throwing and that you're now just doing for your referral sources without understanding how the language dynamic fits into this. And this is how we get folks to subconsciously think about us in terms of what it looks like to think about us continuously and to refer us. And then step 5 is actually our follow-up, right? It is our ability that when we receive referrals, it's how we handle our follow-up, right? I teach a very specific process and script that goes along with that. And then, of course, it's also making sure that we are closing those referrals that we are receiving. And there is an entire process built around how you close a referred prospect because what you say and what you ask should be different than if you're just talking to a cold prospect. And then, of course, we also want to make sure that you have the skill set to change the quality of referrals that you are receiving. So it's not just, well, let me just go back to the steps and let me walk you through them again. So step 1 is identify your referral sources. Step 2 is create your yearly plan. Step 3 is execute on that yearly plan. Step 4 is make sure you're planting the right referral seeds within your touch points and other opportunities that you have to plant referral seeds like the thank you. Make sure, and then step 5 is make sure that you know how to follow up, you know how to close a referred prospect, and you know how to change the quality of referrals you are receiving. All of those 5 steps within layer 1 of the existing referral sources is found in my Growth by Referrals program. But guys, there are so many pieces of that can be found in my book, on the podcast, through the articles on my website, through the challenges that I do throughout the year, and then just any other way that you actually see me posting in social media and things like that, sharing things I think you guys need to know about getting more or receiving more referrals this year. So that information is definitely available to you. But if you want it in that comprehensive viewpoint, right, of exactly what it looks like to go from the start to finish and without having to figure it out and to get it exactly with the great clarity that you want it in a step-by-step manner, of course, guys, that's why I have the Growth by Referrals program, right? As much as I am here to help you guys generate referrals, right, I'm also a business too. And so it's okay that I do give you a lot of information and a lot of content that you can use and put into practice. And it's also okay that some of that information and content is for my paying clients, or what I call AKA students in my programs. But I want you to understand that if you want to have a different year from a referral perspective, 2021 needs to be about getting serious with your first layer of the referral strategy. And that is what you're going to do for your existing referral sources. Now, coming up in a couple of episodes, I'm going to actually go through layer number 2, which is our potential referral sources. And then throughout a few more episodes after that, you'll hear me go through each of the layers within the referral strategy. So you get a full holistic look at this lens of how we're looking at our referral strategy from a layering perspective. But I really thought it would be helpful if you guys could hear from a Growth by Referral student on how the last 2 years have gone for him. And he'll explain, and we're going to bring him up in the next episode, but he'll explain why. This is so powerful, guys. He will explain why identifying your referral sources, why identifying your who is so very important. And he'll also explain how it was integral to the referral explosion he experienced, not only in 2019, his first year following the GBR program, but also in his second year throughout 2020. And the referral explosion he experienced in both of those years. In first, completely increasing the number of referrals that he's received in his first year, and then getting more in 2020 as well, even during the COVID year. So I'm going to bring him in next week to be on the podcast for the next episode, because I think that's going to be really valuable for you guys to hear another business owner talk about and break down for you the why behind identifying your referral sources is so important. And what's interesting about his story is that he thought he had more than he had before he got started. And he'll talk about like, oh, wow, like what that was like, but how empowering this process is to truly identify who your referral sources are. And I think that's some of the best advice that he gives is really coming down to it's very empowering and very powerful to know who your referral sources are, because then it gives you some level of understanding of direction to move forward in if you really want to take care of your referral sources moving forward. All right, remember, as always, if you have questions or thoughts on this episode, I would love for you to ask your questions or share your thoughts in the Referrals Without Asking Facebook group. Of course, the link to that will be found on the show notes page, along with any other resources that I've mentioned so far, like a link to episode 125, where we talk about the overall layering lens, and of course, the PDF that you can download of the layering lens, the visual look of the layering lens, that later approach PDF will be available as well on the show notes page at stacybrownrandall.com/138. That's 138 for episode 138. And you know it, Stacy has an E. Okay, before I sign off, I want to remind you of how I can support you. I know most of you at this point have taken the Referral Ninja Quiz, but there are more people finding this podcast every day, which is why I love to remind you that if you haven't taken the Referral Ninja Quiz and figured out, are you a Referral Ninja beginner, or are you a master, or are you somewhere in between, it's important for you to find out by taking the quiz. Just go to stacybrownrandall.com/quiz. But you know, this link will be on the show notes page to make it easy for you. And remember, almost every month, not every month, but almost every month, we try to do a live and free training that'll help you move forward with getting to where you need to be so that you are prepared to unleash a referral explosion. So I want you to join me for one of our free trainings. Just go to the training page on our website, stacybrownrandall.com/training. And of course, it'll have listed what the next upcoming training is, whether it's a daily challenge, which we just wrapped up our Jumpstart one from last week. Maybe it's a mini series training or a webinar that you can sign up for, or even something that's on demand that you can watch right then and there if you're ready for it. And of course, you can always buy my book, Generating Business Referrals Without Asking. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot to mention this. So before I let you go, let me quickly mention that our business building giveaway is back. In honor of Valentine's Day, we're doing 14 hours with a giveaway each hour to help you build your business and hopefully help you fall in love with your business all over again. Yes, it is our annual Valentine's Day giveaway in which we give away one great business resource or tool to help you love your business again and keep building it and making it as strong as you need it to be. So I would love for you to sign up, because to receive and to win one of these prizes that's given away every hour for 14 hours, well, you got to be signed up, of course. To get yourself signed up, just go to stacybrownrandall.com/V-Day. That's the letter V as in Valentine's for V-Day, and get yourself signed up. Now, remember, some of these prizes that we give away during these 14 hours is prizes we have to mail to you. So when you go to the sign up page, be expecting to see the request for your mailing address. We didn't ask for this last year, and then it was a whole bunch of following up with people trying to get their mailing addresses. So we're going to make that a little bit easier and not delay getting these items in your hands for the one that you win. So make sure you know when you sign up, you're going to put in your name and your email, but then also your mailing address, the one you're most comfortable sharing with us. So if you do win a prize that has to be mailed, we can get that in the mail to you right away without delay. Again, go to stacybrownrandall.com/V-Day. Next week is episode 139. And as I mentioned, we're going to hear from a business owner about his referral explosion in action. So until then, take control and grow your business. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. To access all resources and links mentioned in today's show and to connect with Stacy, head over to www.stacybrownrandall.com.